I'm probably gonna wait another 5 minutes, Brian. If nobody arrives, you care if I just did the show by myself, or think I should call it?
That's fine with me.
Well, I am doing it on a Friday, and a lot of people are drinking.
Uh-huh.
Hell, my guests aren't even arriving. Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to eat my dinner.
Ah, you're fine. Totally not nervous. Oh. Back. No. Hello, Sean.
Well, we got one other person.
Yeah, we got Sean. Hello, Sean.
Hello, Sean.
Hello.
Dang, I need to stop clicking on that screen.
Hey, Brian.
Hello.
I'm gonna start here in a few minutes or so, see if anybody else wants to join, see if I can't get my guests on, which doesn't look like they'll be coming. But yeah. Thought I would let you guys know. Oh, I'm sitting on the ground right now. I'm not fully standing up.
Oh, okay.
Thought I'd let you guys know I am streaming and recording this to YouTube, so YouTube personalities.
What's the YouTube? Is it live right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'll probably, like, when it becomes a video on my, channel. Oh, shit. Did I mess it up? When it becomes a video on my channel, I'll probably trim it up. That way, nobody has to see all of this part while we're just waiting here. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think the term for that is we'll fix it in post.
Yep, fixed in post.
Yep. Hello, Android.
Okay, I'm pulling up YouTube. Can you tell me, like, the channel name? I'll tell you that.
I'm already watching it.
up the
It's
search.
good to go. It's under the channel, Unholy Ghoster.
Holy Ghoster?
Unholy Ghoster.
Okay, Unholy.
Guess I should really put the channel name on these things.
Is it like capital U unholy, then capital G Ghoster?
I mean, the full title, I believe, is
What's the stream called?
The Technical Backend.
Okay.
Spelled the same as up there on the board.
Okay.
Alright, well, I'm actually going to go ahead and get started with this event.
Okay, I'm on the stream here.
Recording. Alrighty. Alright, Sean, can I ask you to step back for me?
Okay.
Thank you. Alright guys, welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and get the show started here. Unfortunately, I do not actually have my guest with me today, but today's technical backend, we are going to be talking about recording the streamer. So different types of recording softwares and different platforms in which you can host streaming and videos. The two we're going to actually be talking about today is Twitch and YouTube. Hopefully my guest K-Dog comes in here and he can tell you a little bit more about streaming to Twitch, because I actually don't know how to do that. But first, let me go ahead and talk about, unfortunately, me. I'm sorry, yes. So, my name is Gabe/Ghoster. I go by Gabe here in Altspace, and I'm also part of the VR chat community. I go by Ghoster there. I am definitely an avid gamer, over a couple 100,000 hours in video games via the Steam library. Who knows? VR chat, I believe, is the highest right now with about 700 hours. Next, I'm also part of the Altspace community since, September? Yeah, September 2016. So, over a year I've been with Altspace. In essence, we won't count the time I wasn't here. But, anyway, let's get into the VR chat community. I started that back in February. Moved there from Altspace and kind of left Altspace for about 6 months before coming back. Oopsie. So I came back to Altspace in late June as the Altspace servers were actually supposed to close down. But enough about my involvement with these communities. Why don't I tell you about my streaming experience? If you do not know me, I stream for both the show The Endgame in VR for VR chat, and I stream most of the Hive network shows, which includes The Hive with Vivian, Tabletop Gaming, Salone's Dumpster Fire, and Behind the Screens with Sad Gamer Dad, if you know any of those events. I'm able to be a few more in the future, but that's all you really need to know about me. Next up, so who actually isn't here? These guys. So that is K-Dog, and that is Sad Gamer Dad. Unfortunately, I think they messed up their times, and it just didn't work out. I hope K-Dog can get here later. He'll tell you more about Twitch. Anyway, today's topics. Let's get on to this. We're going to be talking about how do you record, YouTube versus Twitch, and then the last, just as a filler, setting up descriptions, because those are just as important as setting up the videos. So, how are you recording? What kind of softwares are you using? What kind of sites are you streaming to?
Excuse me? There was a man in the lake over there.
I'm not really concerned about him.
I think he was drowning. Oh,
Sir
no,
in the
he's
lake,
okay.
are you okay? Are you not drowning?
Oh, he's over there now.
Okay, he's
He
fine.
just gave a thumbs up.
Anyway, so one of the main recording softwares I actually use is called OBS, otherwise known as the Open Broadcasting System. And what this does is it's a free desktop game and recording software. Let's go ahead and start muting people. So I use OBS, and that is actually what I'm using right now. So I have my OBS software taking the view from my camera right up here, and I'm streaming it directly to YouTube. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. But OBS, free software, and there's a bunch of them, such as the NVIDIA Shadowplay, Bandicam, Fraps. There is a lot on the market. You really have to look and see what you need. But I and a lot of streamers I know, we all use the OBS software because it's free and it gets what you need done. So these are just a few of the big ones that I could pull off the top of my head. They all work in essence the same way. They'll take a desktop program or your window in general and post it out to a site if you so want. So right here, you can see this is the OBS screen itself. I actually took this right off of my desktop. And so you can see down here, we have different scenes that I can set up. We have different sources that are active. I can
What is
play
all
from
this
mixers.
pink stuff?
That is the
What's
color
the
source.
Pink part?
That is a color source.
Oh, okay.
So you can put in different colors of boxes of different variants into this, and you can scale them and modify them as you please. You can, change your volume for your microphone and your desktop audio. You can change how the scenes transition, and then the most important buttons are over here. Start streaming, start recording, and settings.
No, I disagree. The most important settings are your sources. Because if you don't get the sources right, you don't get the recording right.
I'm sorry, what?
You have to get the recording right. The sources. You have to get the sources right before you do the recording.
Yes, so actually, no.
Yeah, OBS is a nightmare. Unless you get it right, I'm on a Rift. Unless you get the sources right, it doesn't work properly. You can't record, you'll just record nothing.
Well, no, so that's, I can set that up in like 5 minutes.
Explain it properly.
All right, well,
Explain it properly. You have to do the sources first, and then you do the recording.
yes.
The sources are most important. You have to get that right before you get anything else.
So as you can see right here, I have a display capture up. And what that does is if you look up in the top here, and I accidentally went backwards. If you look up in the top, you'll see that I'm recording my recording software, which is then recording the recording software, and it goes in the infinite tunnel effect. That is a display capture. I'm capturing all of my desktop to a video file. This detached, you don't actually see that. That is a game capture. So what that does is I point it at a certain exe on my computer that's running, and it will only pick up that game. And then, of course, on this one, we also have color source. Apparently that video is broken. That's fine. Different parts of this. So streaming, you have this entire list of places you can stream to or are available to be streamed to. It is huge. Such as Chatter 2. No, I don't want to go. I want to go back. Go back. Bad thing. You can stream to Pandora TV Korea, stream live, Cyber Games, Web.tv, but the main ones are at the top there. Twitch and
anything, mate. We
YouTube.
Don't see anything. I see a blue screen. Does everybody else see a blue screen?
Here, let me try fixing that.
It's a total blue screen.
It's blue, and then it should change, right?
No, blue screen.
Oh,
Why is everything blank?
OBS sucks ass, man. It's really difficult. And I'll be honest with you, it's really difficult. Unless you get the source
Everything's
properly.
blue.
And it changes all the time. So like you can fix on it. Like I like big screen, and if I want to record big screen on an Oculus Rift, I have to pick a certain. You can't pick the application. You have to pick something else. It's a fucking.
you have to
nightmare.
play around
OBS
with it,
is not
though.
good.
I agree with you.
OBS is not
OBS
good.
is difficult
OBS
to
is not
learn.
good. It's difficult. It's difficult. If there's something else out there that works better than OBS, I'll stick my hands up. Sign me up. OBS is hard as fuck. It's fucking difficult. It's a pain in the ass.
That sucks.
It is a pain in the ass. You're sitting here telling me it's good, and you can't even get
Well-
it working yourself.
No. Okay, so this is completely different. This is Google Slides not working properly. Which I have no idea why. This should not be happening. There should be different characters. There should be something on the screen right now. But all you're seeing is
I'll
blue.
be the slide.
Blue screen, blue screen.
Yeah, as I thought. It's
Yeah, so it's fucking early days, man. It's all early days. Early days. Everything's early days.
I am the slide now.
You
That's
got the slide.
odd.
Where'd you get the slide?
this slide. I took a picture of my desktop and said, "Here, I'm gonna crop it down to this."
Someone else has got the slide. Someone else got it.
It should be possible. Okay, let's just send this
OBS
home.
is a nightmare. OBS is difficult. There we go. That's it. Yeah, that's it. There we go. Did they stop it?
Oh yeah, it still had your
Yeah,
background on it
Here we
though.
go. No, go back.
You guys see that?
We did.
No.
Yeah, but slide 10 at 10.
Ah!
Before that, though.
Okay.
Is it supposed to be embedded something?
No, it's a picture. It's just a pure picture
Look at that
file.
screen.
Maybe where was it linked? Where was the picture linked from?
It's from my it's from my Google Drive.
YouTube versus Twitch.
Oh, then yeah, that should have worked.
Yeah,
See
it's if I tested
Yeah,
it earlier,
that
it works
works.
just fine.
Hmm.
You guys see YouTube versus Twitch though, right?
Mhm.
Okay. You see that?
Yeah, see that.
Okay. Basically, in essence, those past couple slides, if you guys watch YouTube stream, you'll see it. It's basically describing different features you can go through and different settings you can change. It, like Lee has said, it's difficult to learn. It's difficult to set up the first couple of times, but once you start getting it set up, it's actually pretty easy. I do it, basically every day, and I have my sources pre-set up so that they only look at certain things, and I can just go boom, boom, boom. 2 minutes, I'm ready to stream. All I need is a stream key, and it's good to go.
White Wolf moved in from Dark Wolf's server
Really?
by the server.
Give me some tips, man. Is it OBS? Sorry.
White Wolf left channel and disconnected.
So we'll get back on track here. YouTube versus Twitch. Which do you guys? I just want to see a raise of hands real quick. Which one do you think is it better? Can we hear it for YouTube?
Yeah.
Got
Better, you
one.
mean in terms of like
Yeah, YouTube.
content?
No, quality of streaming and videos.
Well, I can't comment. I've never
Oh,
seen it either.
okay, yeah, I can comment on
Here,
it.
Luigi.
I think YouTube is better because they give you the ability to stream in a higher resolution and higher bit rate right off the bat, whereas you got to earn it on Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
do you?
yeah, YouTube you can stream up to 4K, I believe, if you want to, but you have to have the
Wow.
internet to do that. It gets ridiculous, real quick.
Yeah.
I understand Twitch can do the same thing, but from what it sounds like, you have to actually earn those by, keeping subscribers or whatever. And we'll actually hopefully have a person in that can help describe that for me, because I haven't used Twitch at all. But
Yeah, you have to have a partnership.
so anyway, this is your YouTube creators panel. So right now I'm in my live streaming section, and you can do two types of live streams. You can do a impromptu or just do one right now. You will be limited on bit rates though. You're limited to 1,000 for your bit rate on this. But you can stream any size resolution you want. So it's open to be whatever you want. The next part you have events. Hopefully this works. Do you guys see something on the screen?
No.
No. It's blue.
Okay. Well, that is my problem then. Apparently animations don't transfer to alt space. So this entire slide is junk.
That's working now. Twitch stuff.
Yeah, no, I just skipped the entire
Yeah, I see
slide.
that.
In essence, what I was showing you is the different things you can go through, showing you how to set up names for your stream, how to set up the descriptions, describing different settings you can do for it, so you can make it a private stream, a unlisted stream, or public stream, so anybody can watch it. The next part I was going to talk about was ingestion settings, so how to set up YouTube to basically accept your stream into its services, setting up bit rates and size resolutions, along with grabbing your stream key and other important information on that page. And then the final part was going to the live control panel that YouTube uses and starting up streaming, because it's actually a two-step process. You have to first preview your stream, and it takes about 2-3 minutes for that to go through, and then once you do that, you can actually hit the button and it changes to start streaming, so that way you can have video going beforehand.
Can you send me
I
that?
was actually hoping this would all work properly, but it seems like bad things. What are
That
you doing?
works.
I would like to see all the. I would like to see all the.
Okay, apparently things are skipping, and I shouldn't be touching stuff. Anyway, so Twitch, I tried to look into that a little bit. I could not find the stream key. Hey, Schmidtech, so apparently animations don't work here. In Google Slides.
Oh.
Google Slides, yeah. Some of the transitions don't work very well.
Yeah. So I'm missing huge slides because I put like multiple pictures in them and just animated them through.
Yeah. Basically, I don't know. I wish I could go in there and find out which transitions do work and stuff like that. So it's better to just maybe,
Put one
uh,
on every single slide, or change the slides
I
of
don't
it.
know, just maybe just test it and see if they work, and maybe try not to use them too often. I don't
I
know.
mean, because it's weird, because I see them moving, but nobody else sees them on. Like, so if we go
I see
to this
I see
slide
slide
right here,
13.
if we go to,
Slide,
okay, go to slide 13, and we click it.
yeah, I see slide 13, but it's just a blue screen.
Yeah, so I've already
Yeah.
clicked it, and on my side, it's on the next part of it.
And
I don't know if it's showing anything.
Very blue, very nice.
Yeah, we're trying to get that fixed, but apparently it's just being not
yeah,
helpful
the
at all.
animations for sure are not
I don't even know
are
what
not
this thing
super
is.
friendly.
Is this-
And is everybody else seeing the slides?
I mean, they see the normal slides without animations, but the
yeah,
problem
I
is
think.
there's some slides with animation, and those are the ones I'm missing.
Yeah, the problem is that
Okay.
the slides are missing
Yeah.
the ones
Oh well,
at the bottom.
I'll fix that maybe and do another show about this one.
Yeah, I think maybe the Google animations and the transitions and stuff, they don't all work in here. Definitely worth testing.
I mean, the thing is, it works on my end, but I think that's locally because I can control the board, and it's not passing through to everybody else since it's not a new URL. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if is this let me just check if this is whitelisted. This.
Gabe?
All right, I'll check the whitelisting part, and I might have to reset the space. Let me check it here.
Okay.
Go ahead with your thing.
Well, I would tell you about Twitch stuff, but I don't know really much about that. I was trying to look for stream keys and where to find them and how to set up your Twitch streams and what's acceptable resolutions and bit rates. But unfortunately, I am not your guy for that. K-Dog, who will
I am.
hopefully be in later,
I'm here.
can help you with that. Oh!
Yeah.
Hey! I didn't even
Here.
notice you were
Can you
here.
hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Sweet. Yeah, I was able to make it.
Okay, well,
So
come up
wanted
here.
to.
Lydia,
Alrighty.
So,
guys.
I guess I can go back to the beginning slide. Who's here? I don't know if you probably can't see that
say thanks.
if animations aren't working. But with me here today, I've got K-Dog, and he is actually from VR Chat, and he does the streaming for the one and only Gunter's Universe. He's been doing this how many episodes now? Like 100?
We're getting close to probably 200. So we've been doing this for over 2 years now. It started in 2015, around that time. You can actually go to YouTube and look up all the previous episodes, all the way back to, I believe, episode 1 we had recorded. But that was my very first experience streaming. I'd never done it before, and so I guess that's usually the best way to learn, is to just jump in and do it. And I used OBS, and like some of the other streaming services, Twitch, you have to use the stream key and to set up the proper network settings that are in the help file or the help site for Twitch. And once you do that and set all the proper bitrate and the key and those other settings, you're ready to go. One thing I did learn is always make sure that your stream is up and running. Sometimes OBS has said that it's streaming, everything's okay, and then you go to the website and nothing's happening. So you want to just go ahead and check that before, right when you start the stream, make sure everything's good. Yeah, and then you're good to go. The other thing is keep in mind the resolution that you set in OBS versus the resolution on your desktop. If for example, if you have 1080 resolution, 1080p on your desktop screen, 1920 by 1080, but your OBS says 720, 1280 by 720, it will only capture that part of the screen. So it'll only capture like the upper left corner of the screen. So all the other pixels that it didn't, that weren't specified, it won't do. So it looks like the screen is cut off or it's zoomed in. So be mindful of that. Always check your stream, make sure it looks good before you commit to a full, full show, whether it be 10 minutes, an hour, half an hour, what have you. So those are some of the things that I've learned when it comes to the streaming stuff.
And if you actually look behind you, K-Dog, I took a picture of one of my OBS
Beautiful.
that I run. So
Excellent.
I was telling them about scenes, a little bit about a couple of different sources you can use.
Yep, and
How you can mess with your audio mixer. So right now, for normal streaming, I believe both you and me use this. We turn our mics off. So basically right over here. Leave our desktop audio on.
Right.
And
one other thing I wanted to mention real quick is you can set a hotkey in OBS where
did have a picture of that, but it doesn't work.
Okay. But you can do that. So if you can sync up with the application. So for instance, any of the VRChat or AltSpace, I know VRChat has an alt key. It's a V, and when you press and hold that, you can basically set it so you can toggle the voice, so you control when you speak, and you can mirror that in OBS. So whatever you say, whatever you mean to say, gets recorded and nothing else. So that way you can control that audio aspect of it. So.
And when I was wondering, have you heard of any of these other ones as recording softwares?
Was this Fraps, Shadow Play? I think
Yeah,
I've heard of them, the NVIDIA stuff, but I haven't played around with it. I've just basically played around with OBS.
It's one of those ones, once you learn all its features and key things it can do, it's pretty much a solve-all. You don't really need any other program because it is free.
Right. Yep, exactly. And one other thing I wanted to mention real quick, kind of outside the metaverse streaming, is once you learn OBS and you understand how it works, you can actually get paid for not necessarily streaming, but doing a local recording of VR apps. Fishbowl VR, which I actually am a playtester of, allows you to help them do UX testing for their clients. So a software company comes up and says, hey, we need to make sure our game runs, want to get feedback from users. And what they ask us to do is have a webcam video of us next to a VR output screen of what we see. So you can they get a sense of how you're looking around, your body language, that sort of stuff, and what you're seeing. And then you basically describe all that stuff. So you can put in webcam sources, all that stuff. So but once you learn OBS, you can do a lot of different things with it.
All right. Well, and actually going into that, can you talk a little bit more about Twitch? I didn't get any pictures from you, unfortunately.
No problem.
So, kind of walk us through the process of setting up, let's say, a Twitch live stream. Like, how would you first set the resolution?
Okay, so that's basically all in the options. You can actually set a profile up for your particular streams and other things. So you can say, okay, so let's say okay, today I'm streaming this, and tomorrow I'm doing a local recording of that, which requires different software, which requires OBS to capture different software. You can set up different profiles in order to segment these things out, so you don't have to
take a masturbation break.
Alrighty, have fun.
All right. Yeah.
I'll have fun.
Okay, so basically, so anyways, that's one of the neat things about OBS. You can break up all your different recording tasks that you have. So once you set up a profile, you can then go and set a scene, and then choose your capturing device, or a game window, or the whole screen, or what have you. And in there you can set your resolution, all sorts of different stuff in there, and then after that you can then go into your options and set the what service you're running, put in the stream key that you have, set the bit rate, all that stuff.
Yeah, so what he's talking about over here is
Sorry
when
about
he
this,
gets
guys.
over, when he's talking about the scenes, this is what he's talking about. So I have, on mine, I have one for VR chat, alt space, and trucking. So basically, you know, like American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator. Another one I have is a certain set of sources for recording and capturing Google Block stuff. So I build avatars in there, and I have, you know, different colors set up. I have the actual Google Blocks. I have Unity. I have, I think, Blender, as well as some of my capture sources. Disclaimer, I can't actually do that one here, but if I could do it for the stream. And that is actually a video file. So I'm able to post a video file onto this and have it play. And once it's done, I can just change my scene to go to alt space, and it's like nothing ever happened. And if you look on this magenta box right here, you'll see it's red outlined with circles. And that is basically your selector window. That allows you to scale and drag and move that source around to different parts of the screen. So that's what's currently highlighted right in here. Is my color source. So you can set any RGB color you want with that. Oh god dang it. Wait for it to come back. So let's go back to talking about Twitch. So after you set up, you know, your stream locally on your computer, how difficult really is it to push out to Twitch and make sure it's all working? What's the normal delay, you'd probably say?
Actually, it's only just a few seconds worth of delay, give or take. And it's once you have it set up and when it's working, it's easy. You just hit stream, and when you hit stream, it'll actually also automatically enable the local record button as well. So not only will you have a stream version of it, but you're also going to have a local recording. So if you need to do editing later on, you can do that and then like upload it to YouTube. That's, you know, nice and polished. And so that's one of the things that I've done in the past is, you know, we streamed and then Twitch held on to a temporary recording. Meanwhile, I'm actually taking that recorded video that I have on my computer and then editing through this free software called Lightworks. And it's actually pretty decent. So you can go in, do all the fancy video editing, scrubbing the video, resizing it, cutting, adding stuff, all that good stuff. And then you just go and upload it to YouTube. Just drag and drop the video into the upload box in YouTube, and that's it. And then you just write down all the metadata for it, and you're good to go.
And that's actually part of one of the the fourth event of this series. So I started last Friday with what was it? Camera work. So basically different styles of camera work you can choose from, you know, static, movement styles, angles, how to move properly, different, you know, recording styles, so desktop, VR, or real life recordings. So, you know, this time we're talking about the different recording softwares and how to get it up to YouTube and Twitch and other such sources, along with the next episode, I believe, is going to be about hardware. So different types of hardware requirements for actually setting up streams, along with network requirements. And then the fourth show, which I want to actually notify you about, is talking about video editing. So I'm going to have Ken, you know him as Nomano. I'm going to have him on, along with a few, I believe somebody else. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about different video editing softwares and how to get the most, I guess you could call it production value for the least amount of time. So if you want to be a part of that one as well. But like he said, so when you start streaming, when you hit that start stream button over there in the controls, it automatically starts recording as well. That way, let's say your internet goes out, you still have the full video. You don't have to rely on some other source on the internet to record it for you. Mind you, it will take a little bit more of your PC to do that, but it's well worth it, especially if you have some network issues trying to upload stuff, like if you don't have the speed. So I believe that's everything for setting up YouTube streams. Unfortunately, that didn't go too well. Ken here has actually described to you how to set up Twitch streams. Then I believe the last part is descriptions. This lovely part right here. So this is actually from my YouTube page itself. Basically, I captured the screen it took. So right now I have this live stream as unlisted. So that you can have live streams as 3 types. You can have them as unlisted, private, or public. And each one has a different function. So private means only people who you have given special access to by putting their email in will be able to see the video. Unlisted means if you have a link to it, you can watch it. Or if you find it on the channel, you can watch it as well. Whereas public, it's publicly broadcasted. Anybody on, any platform can generally watch this. And you need to watch how you do that. Because sometimes you can get trolls on and have them figure out where you are and, interrupt your stream in-game, which is the worst thing that can happen, as me and Ken have both experienced at more than once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are always fun. Is when you're a cameraman, you try to compensate for people acting stupid or saying stupid things and trying to avoid certain situations, looking at certain people, but it's sometimes unavoidable, and you just have to deal with it, which is probably the most unfortunate part, that people would want to interrupt these streams.
Right. One thing I did want to mention, if something's going on that you're live streaming and you don't want people to hear, like you're hearing somebody do profanity and for whatever reason they're not being kicked or they're not being muted, you can actually go into OBS, and I believe you should be able to manually turn down the volume to the actual stream. So you go into OBS and crank down the audio volume, and that will literally...
Why do you keep muting me?
Because you have background noise. Your mic is picking up like car sounds and other things. That's why I keep muting you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So that's also actually part of it, is being a cameraman. Luckily here in AltSpace, I can put a camera up like right above you guys, and I can leave it there. And then it allows me to take a look around the bigger scene while that camera stays stationary and is looking strictly at the screen, and that's all the stream sees. So let's say if I wanted to point to Brian, who is behind the camera, and I wanted to mute, kick, or message him, I could do that, and the stream would never know. That's one of the nice things here about AltSpace. That's also one of the things you do have to worry about, is moderating people. So in VR chat and in AltSpace, muting is a big key part. Blocking gets a little more difficult and a little more challenging because, it asks you, do you really want to block this person? But if you do and they have something to say, all of a sudden you've got dead silence as everybody's listening to them, and you have them blocked. So that kind of plays a part into it as well.
Can you unblock someone?
You can unblock someone, but you have to figure out who you blocked first. That always becomes the issue, is who did you block, who's talking, who needs to be unblocked, so you can, find them and get them blocked again once the stream's over. Because unfortunately, you don't get to decide who can be on the stream or not. You're supposed to include everybody possible. And so that's always an unfortunate side effect. I've dealt with a few people, I'm not going to mention names, just to keep them anonymous, who have, not been the nicest to me, and I'm forced to unblock them because they have something to add to the conversation of any one of the live streams I do. And you just kind of get used to it, where you ignore them to the point it's not as bad as you might think it would be. K-Dog can actually tell you, or Ken can tell you a little bit more about that with, let me just go ahead and meet this guy real quick. love open mics. So, Ken, can you tell us a little bit more about, moderating people while being a cameraman? Or does Gunter usually handle that for you?
Yeah, Gunter usually handles that, or VR Pill, or one of the mods of VR Chat. They'll actually go ahead and mute people, but it's nice it's a luxury. It's a nice luxury to have when you have other people doing that. But it can be a problem, depending on what show it is and that sort of thing. So sometimes you just have to kind of bite your tongue and just
Yeah,
try to.
it's always a wonderful part.
Yeah.
So before we get too far off track, let's go ahead and finish up description. So for YouTube here, if this slide would stop moving, you can set dates and times, and you can add descriptions. So for this one, I labeled my stream in what you would see on YouTube as test. Really kind of plain and simple, not really descriptive of anything, and it's just there to test live streams and make sure everything I have is working. And I set this one for October 29th of this year at 2 p.m., which I believe was like a Saturday or something. Down here in the description, you want to make sure you kind of know what your stream's about, because the better and more, the more filled the description is, the more retention you'll have, generally. Because if you, basically say, this is a stream about these two people talking about this, that's very non-descriptive, and it just gives a basic overview. The more you can get in the description without being too long is the best for these kinds of things, along with tags. These aren't as important. You don't have to have tags. It just makes your video easier to find. So such as for right now, let's say if I wanted to stream this, I would put, VR, alt space, virtual reality, camera work, technical, back-end, different things that describe what I'm doing here on the show, or different names that I can pull out. That way, if anybody searches those, they'll come up with this video more often higher in the list. The type you don't usually worry about here on YouTube. If you're going to be doing your own software recording on your PC, you just leave that as custom. Do you have any options like that in Twitch that you could explain to us without a picture?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's with Twitch, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I know you can do like trying to think here. Hopefully, put this. I mean, I know you can put like custom backgrounds and that sort of thing, and do a little customization, but didn't really play around with that stuff too much.
You just kind of let it go and.
Yeah, we just. Yeah, exactly.
So,
but you can go nuts. I mean, there's stuff in the documentation you guys can check out.
I do want to ask though, do you set up your own streams on Twitch, or do you have somebody else set that up for you?
Well, no, I set them up. But that's under another account. Like, Gunner has. It's basically his account, but I just have the key.
Password.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to do.
Yeah, it's not that hard to do. I mean, for all of the alt space events that I'm a part of, especially the Hive Network, I generally set up the streams for those. And there's a few occasions where I'll forget it until the day of, and somebody else will set it up for me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that.
That's the thing with the stream key, is because I don't have, like, if I'm in a different location or the computer died or something happened, like, we have to go get the stream key. But other than that, I mean, once, if you know the settings, you can just go to the document in Twitch and read it. So.
That's so nice.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add? Because I'm actually, without half these slides working, with a bunch of different pictures of information that I needed working, I kind of ran myself a little short on time. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, as far as descriptions, what you can do is obviously just, just put it.
Jake, can you move back to the steps, please?
You can.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know somebody who can fix that.
What?
But he's not online right now.
No, I've already talked to some guy from the AltSpace admin team. He knows what the problem is, and I know what the problem is. It's simply the animations on Google Slides that aren't posting over to everybody. And since I'm the only one allowed to access that, then you guys can't see what I'm doing.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so you put a description. If you want to get fancy, you can actually put the timestamps in. You could even have links to the timestamps. So, like, you know, if you wanted to say, okay, this section we talk about this topic, and this section we talk about, you know, another thing, you can literally, I believe, have links right in the description to, you know, where they are, or at the very least, just have you know, where the exact time that they start, and then down here, you know, put as much as you can. You know, if it's VR and it has to do with, I don't know, golf or, you know, whatever, just put as much related things as you can that is actually talked about in your conversation. Like, you know, if you're a variety show that talks about all the different topics of news, put down everything that you talk about, like HTC, Vive, Oculus, Rift, you know, Gear VR, like every tag you can put on, almost like Twitter, basically. So
The more tags, the better.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh god, dang the headset keeps blacking out.
Nope.
So I know you came in late and you kind of missed the first section. That's unfortunate, but you know, real life gets in the way. That's one of the things you do have to worry about sometimes is managing your time between doing live streams and, you know, having your own time. And that's kind of something I'm figuring out now. I don't know if you've had that problem as well.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I've been doing this live streams practically almost every Tuesday for 2 years. And it's made things interesting. I do my best to make sure I'm there all the time, and I have been. It's worked out great. Thankfully, hasn't had any, you know, other commitments other than like work and other things like that. I've even brought my computer with me on vacation. I've literally traveled across the country with my computer so I can stream, and you know, it's usually worked out. Like, I've even done crazy setups trying to, like, you know, get a repeater and, you know, use one of the public Xfinity Wi-Fi spots to try to boost the signal. Like, you know, I was down at the Cape and, you know, by the beach trying to stream. So yeah, I've done it all as far as you know, location based on streaming. But it's cool though. I mean, it's neat. Meet a lot of great people. Get to hear a lot of interesting
content.
Talks.
Definitely.
Yes.
That's one of the things I like about it, and kind of one of the things you have to pay attention for is what the content is actually, you know, detailing. Hi, guest.
Right.
We're kind of doing a show here. Can you step on the steps? Thank you. Now, one question for you though as well. I notice myself paying attention to speech patterns. So basically, when somebody sounds like they're going to end, you know, whatever they're saying, do you know, automatically start preparing to see where the conversation is going to go and start moving that? Or, you know, how do you stream? Like, do you pay attention to certain things, or you just kind of go with the flow?
So I'll try to see, like, when a conversation, like, for instance, when like Gunnar is interviewing somebody and he's, you know, saying the question, or he has his piece that he's saying, I'll focus the camera on him, and then usually what happens is, like, you know, if he's like, you know, talks about a certain topic and kind of discusses it and then leads into a question, I'll then kind of pan over to the guest, or switch over to the guest once he's finished talking, so we can bring the attention over to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes if there's back and forth, what we'll do is then we'll zoom out or switch the view to both of them, or, you know, if there's, you know, more than 2, 3, we'll try to get as many people in if they're all in the conversation. So I try to keep the focus to the person or people that are engaged in the conversation.
Absolutely, and that's a key feature, because, you know, nobody wants to hear a stream where the main part of the talking is behind you.
Right.
Kind of like right now, where some people will talk from back there, and from the camera's perspective, it sounds like everybody's talking behind it. But yeah, I definitely want to thank K-Dog from VR Chat, or as you know him here, Ken,
Yeah.
for being able to make it.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you as well for having me. It's an honor, and I'm glad I could share my experiences. And yeah, this is great.
I do think I am going to try to plan for beginning of next year. I'm going to do this entire show again, but this time in VR chat, and I will hopefully have all of these things fixed along with the web pages. But yeah, definitely come out and see my the other parts of these events. I will have all of them up on YouTube as well. You can find the Unholy Ghoster on YouTube. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I know we didn't have a huge crowd, and we did have some conversations about OBS and how it's the worst, but there's a lot of people here who would beg to disagree. You should have heard him. He was like, OBS is so hard to set up, and like, well, if you do it for a little bit, you know exactly what you need, and you have everything already pre-set up, so you can do it in like 5 minutes. Just grab a stream key, and you're good to go.
Yep, it doesn't take that long. It's just that momentum. It's getting over that hurdle of like, it's like building habit. Like the fear of actually doing it is worse than actually doing it. That's kind of one of the things you got to get over, and it's it's something that plagues us all. But once you end up doing it, you just say screw it and just do it. There's a term called eat the frog, where you literally just it's a term where you just do the thing that you hate, just to get it over with, and just push yourself forward. But after, once you're done, it's usually like, hey, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. That's usually 99% of the time, that's the outcome.
And even too, did you find it, difficult to talk up here? Because, I find it difficult to find topics to talk about, because I'm not usually the one in front of the camera. I'm usually the one behind the camera focusing on people talking.
Likewise. It's, I'll tell you this, though. Being in social VR and doing stuff like this has definitely helped me in real life. Like, I actually I had the opportunity to speak at MIT last year.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Lab. And I literally just, it was about actually VR and...
Sorry about her. She's so annoying.
It was about VR and accessibility for people with, like, low vision. And I got up there and I just basically, pulled my speech out of thin air. I thought about it a little bit, and then I was like sitting there, like waiting nervously to go up in front of a packed audience, and I was like, okay, it's the point. And then they're like, all right, next up on the stage, Ken. I was like, oh my god, and I just showed up in the room too. Like I'm so glad I showed up when I did, because I got there way earlier because I wanted to make sure I was there, and sure enough, they called me right up, so I didn't even have time. So I have social VR to thank for being able to speak in front of a group of people. So
because you've watched other people do it, you've had the crowd stare at you, and all the different people, and I definitely think that helps, is basically having that audience there, not necessarily for you but for somebody else, and being part of that something else that can really help you just talk about anything and everything.
Yep. So it's a win-win.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and close this down. Like I said, I want to thank K-Dog. Do you have any? I know you have some Twitch handles or Twitter handles you want to throw out there.
Yeah. So usually Gunner does this, but I guess I'm doing it today, and that's giving shout-outs at the end of the show. He gives shout-outs. Lets people kind of drop, the projects or shows that they're doing. So I'm K-Dog, and I'm the virtual cameraman for Gunner's Universe. We're the longest running talk show in VR. And you can catch us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We always have different topics going on, different guests. And you can catch us on Twitter. If you want to see the past shows, just go on to gunnersuniverse.com, and you get a link to YouTube, or you just go to YouTube and type in Gunner's Universe, and they're all there. So that's I guess my little plug.
Of course, mine, as I said earlier, I have a YouTube page. I am part of more than a few Discords, so you can maybe possibly find me on there as well. Generally I go by different names on every Discord. But anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for coming out to the show. I want to say thank you to anybody who is watching. If anybody is watching, it's okay. I'm not begging for subscriptions. Please subscribe. You know, thumbs up, bell, you know, the whole deal that everybody else says, because I clearly don't remember it. Do that thing that everybody else says. But why don't we go ahead and say goodbye to my lovely stream and recorded software somewhere over here. Like I said, somewhere over here. And, K-Dog, thanks for coming. I will talk to you guys all later. And good night.